up, y'all? Welcome back to the Scholar Social. I am Jonah Ruffin.
I'm Jayla Jackson.
I'm Daya Brown.
I'm Sanaa Edwards.
And I'm Zayla Bryant.
How y'all feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. How are you?
Good.
I'm doing good.
Okay,
Let's get into the
Yeah.
shades of brown. First of all, shout out to Daya because our visuals plus our lighting plus everything look great.
The fits. It's
great.
Now I gotta keep the people together.
right.
Okay. Keep the
But you know what's
Lord.
crazy? Whoa, whoa. I just had like brain boom. This is ironic because this is crazy. I was just
What's so crazy?
I was
Right.
just talking to a friend about because shades of brown, right?
Right.
We're all different shades.
Right.
If we talk about colorism,
Okay.
right?
Ooh.
And we see it a lot on TikTok. I have been seeing it a lot on TikTok recently. What's considered colorism, what it's not. And like, as somebody who is lighter toned, like I want insight. I want to have,
Right.
you know,
Let's start off with that.
if it's
Yeah.
okay.
Let's talk about it for real.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
But I think we should really start off with the origin, and specifically in terms of Black people, there's a different origin rather than globally.
Right.
So we have to look at the origin, then dissect its definition. I think we can all agree upon the origin, specifically when it comes to Black American people in America is more of the origin comes from slavery.
Right.
Lighter skinned people go in homes, rather darker skinned people tend to work in the fields. And those lighter skinned people would tend to be the master's, children as well.
Right.
So y'all want to unpack that origin first?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask if you want to dissect that origin.
Yeah.
Before we go
I
into this definition.
I think it's important. I'll pass it to you.
Okay.
I think that it's important to note that the battle that we're seeing that you just described is used as a form of oppression
Right.
against
It
Black
is.
people.
Right.
Because as long as we keep viewing it, we view it as a weapon that has been formed against us, I think it changes the energy around it. And I feel like, and this is kind of getting into the conversation, I'm definitely still has to be you, but I feel like the Black community has internalized it as like our problem when it's literally created as a way to further deconstruct us.
Right. And I think that, speaking of oppression, I think that, and also talking about the origin, colorism was rooted in slavery because,
It really was, yes.
the lighter skinned people were in the house and like the darker skinned people were like in the fields. And I think that being in the house gave you that sense of like superiority.
Yes.
And then that continued to today. And light skinned feeling like they have a bit more power than us because, the things that have been instilled in them.
Well, you
But
say
then we also have to realize, I need to make this distinction real quick, that slavery, while it was abolished, it has evolved.
Yeah.
Right? So that same superiority, like as white, lighter skinned people be in the house and darker skinned people are in the field. When it comes to the workplace, lighter skinned people get
Always
that job.
Right.
Yeah.
Darker skinned people don't. We have to realize that the powers that it started with are still at play here.
Yeah, 'cause I
It's
wanted
not
to-
just light skins continuing or dark skins continuing the slave mindset.
Right.
It's still being instilled.
Right.
I truly just wanted, you just expressed the same sentiment because you said it was a feeling, but I'm like, no, this is real.
It's real.
People actually get opportunities because of the way that they look, and some people are denied because they don't.
And it's
look a certain way.
And it's really hard as a Black woman, and the versatility of a Black woman in terms of your skin color. It's very hard to figure out, is this place for me or not?
And it also,
Because she could get a job before I can, you can get a job before I can, and that's reality. And we have to really dissect that, and because no, it's not fair. It's really not. But my question is, how can we actually get to a place where we want to be? And I think we do have to look at this definition a little bit more.
I think in order to answer that question, we have to honestly ask ourselves, where do we want to be?
Yeah.
What is the goal?
Yeah.
But I think to like start from the base, like they said, let's talk about this definition.
This definition.
Because the definition is what frames everything,
So we know that it's a practice of discrimination amongst lighter skinned people, as well as darker skinned people. So it's kind of comparative. So that's
And
what
the
we do know.
definitions that I've seen, has always been a distinction that is a discrimination against people of darker skin tones
within the same
which I
ethnic
think is
groups.
in part, but I feel like we should, I'm asking, do y'all feel that somebody of a lighter skin tone can experience colorism?
Yeah.
No.
Wait.
No.
I do not. I mean,
I
I
don't.
think that you guys get. You guys, I'm so sorry.
No.
That's not what I mean. But like when I think of like anything that is racially discriminatory, the more superior power you can try to use, like let's say the white man and the black person, and we're using the N-word versus cracker. The N-word will always have more weight than me calling you a cracker. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all know what I mean. Like I'm not calling nobody cracker.
I can't say that.
Oopsie.
But
No, you get the. I'm not saying.
Black people can say cracker.
No.
What?
Yeah.
Saying no, you can't.
Why?
No, I'm being serious. You cannot say cracker. That's like racially like.
How?
She's comparing N-word.
I'm comparing N-word to
Wait,
cracker.
okay, well maybe I should be like, y'all, we can say that?
You can say we black
Don't
people
know.
use it.
I'm not.
Don't use
I'm
it
not
in a
calling
bad
nobody
way.
a cracker. I'm saying the what's called derogatory terms for each.
Okay.
They hold different weight
I didn't
because
even know
of the
that.
system that's play.
I thought
It is racism, and I think the person I think of it as bullies and the person that's getting bullied. The person that's getting bullied can try to bully the bully, but is it ever really effective? No.
Right.
So going
and
off of, sorry, I'll pass it on. Going off, well, not going off of Zayla's point, I kind of disagree just as tad, because for my experience, one of my friends came up to me and he's of the darker skin, and wait, I can say that. Right?
Go ahead.
Okay, he's of the darker, he's of the darker skin tone, and he came up to me and was like, Sanaya, why don't you have light skin hair? And personally, for me, I struggle with insecurities about my I have like type 4 hair, but besides that point, the whole topic of light skin hair.
that's not colorism.
But
isn't
that
colorism.
still can be.
Okay,
No,
if the definition is discrimination
That's
based
the
on a
definition.
skin tone, in my opinion, that does
That-
fall under
no,
the
I
Yeah,
get
I
that.
get that.
But
But what
to say-
There's
she's
the same
talking about.
characteristics that comes with the
That
race.
isn't.
I know, but
that's
wait,
not
wait,
skin
wait,
tone,
wait.
Really.
That's telling me I'm
your
supposed to
hair
have.
type.
No, but it's not.
He specifically said light skin hair, meaning that because she is light skinned, she is supposed to possess certain attributes.
Yo,
Yes.
okay. To Zayla's point, I think that it has to do with a superiority complex because, well, okay. I think that colorism has to do with that. I just lost my train of thought. Somebody else go.
Okay,
Sorry.
but going with the superiority, I don't think it's. You said something earlier, and you said, "Oh, light skin's having a bigger E." Da, 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 da. Not all. I personally, I don't think I'm the most superior other than dark skin.
No,
But you're an exception.
What we're saying
Most light
is, I don't think it's
that way.
I don't think
How?
that it's
How do you
an
know?
How can we
internalization of
measure that?
superiority. I think that it's literally like they're in the systems that
Society
play.
puts you in
You
this.
do have more opportunities than dark skinned people. It's not necessarily if you. It's not. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. It's true.
Yeah, because like Jonah
Right.
said, it's a
Okay.
system.
Right.
So they're saying systematically
Yes.
light skins cannot experience colorism.
No.
Yes.
But
I'm saying
you're
that.
saying we
No,
can't
no,
experience
Because
colorism, okay.
on a day-to-day just interaction basis, I would affirm, not just because I'm light skinned, but even if I wasn't light skinned, if you are treating somebody differently or treating somebody badly because of their skin tone, and that's a form of discrimination. And to me, it follows right under the definition of what colorism is.
So do you think that darker part on the modifier on colorism is necessary? Because it says of a darker skin tone.
That's why I
Right.
said the ones that like the public one. I think that's what
Read the definition
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
The definition specifically states, okay, where it is
Drop
a
source,
practice.
drop source.
Okay, the source is at this very moment is according equality, promoting justice, and building community through the NCC.
And J, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
.org.
.org. A practice of discrimination by which those with lighter skin are treated more favorably than those with
Okay.
darker skin.
Exactly.
This
Right. That's what I'm saying.
practice-
Systematically.
This practice is a product of racism in the United States, which
Right.
is systematic and it's
Right.
an institution.
So
if
therefore,
you're
that.
outweighing-
Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
okay.
But it also within it upholds the white standards of beauty and benefits
Yes.
white people in the institutions of oppression.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
with
Yes,
that,
I agree
Wait.
with that.
Right.
Go ahead, John.
Okay, and I think that proves our point to where it's like I don't feel as if light skins can experience colorism because no matter what, y'all are still seen as higher
In the
You're
system.
Right.
Systematically. In the
You guys have been
Yes.
superior than dark skin, so therefore you cannot experience colorism because you have
Okay.
never
Right,
been that
which
seat.
I think we're all in agreement on, but on a day-to-day interactions
Yes.
with people.
I would
Because
say
I
that
wanted to
there-
pose a
yeah.
question here because to Jayla's point, I think light-skinned women are or light-skinned people as a whole are seen as less black. And I think that's what we really need. That's what we're really talking about here.
I'm
Which
really
goes right back to
interested in
the
that.
whole light skin hair concept.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, wait.
If you are dealing
yeah.
with hair types that are less kinky, right? When you say light skin hair and having hair types that are less kinky, typically is associated with you being mixed between black and another race,
Yeah.
or specifically black and white, which does go back to slavery.
Right. Yeah.
If a master, reproduce with a black female slave, of course the baby is going to come out either lighter toned, and a mix between having straight hair and kinky hair creates
Beautiful eyes. All of it.
creates a different hair type. So him saying, "Oh, why don't you have light skin hair?" It goes back to the racism.
No, what I'm a little.
In my
with the
opinion,
hair,
that was colorist.
with the
too.
hair,
I
with the
agree.
hair, I think he kind of spoke weirdly because when they talk about hair with black people, there's always good hair versus bad hair.
Yeah.
As if that's a thing. That for me, that's what is weird. But
And-
I've never heard
Right,
of
and good hair has been associated
with
with
our own
light skin.
community.
You know what's crazy? Is
Right.
that when darker skinned people have that light skinned hair, or they have that boy
Good
coin.
hair?
They have that
hair
good hair, and
person.
they have type 3 hair. Everybody's like, "Is that your hair? Are you actually black?" Like they question that. How do you
Yes.
have that? Is that a wig? Da, 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 da. But no, you don't know. Everybody. Oh, sorry. Black people can have textures from every spectrum.
Right, and I think that I'm gonna say this. I don't think that saying light skin hair was even the right terminology because
It wasn't, but
Right.
the fact that
That
he
was
used that
horrible. That was
terminology,
weird.
which is what
right,
makes
like
it.
why was he even ill? That's just
Right, so the fact that
that's
he
it.
used it, which is why I think it's
Okay,
colorism, but
can
I don't think
can
that-
I share something? Okay, in my experience, right? Y'all know I'm an activist, and y'all know that I am black. I identify as black. I have gone through most of my life. I've been at PWI institutions, to where being light skinned did not save me, like at all. I got it bad. Actually, I've gotten it worse than people of darker skin tones who have chosen to assimilate. If that makes sense.
Elaborate.
Okay, to elaborate on that,
Yeah.
because if you are not used to being in a PWI space, you have people of color who choose to assimilate, right? Who sacrifice their blackness for comfortability. And then you have me where it's plastered on my tongue. It's tattooed on my face. You will acknowledge that I am black. Like always, every second of the day, right? And so I have experience from my own community. Like you would think that, hey, the work that she's doing is good. The work that she's doing is going to benefit black people. But because of the way I present of a lighter tone, girl, you don't know the half of it. Right. Girl this, girl that. And assuming that my experiences with racism are invalid because of the way I present, I feel like in that instance, for me, it functions as a form of colorism. Now, I understand that
Socially.
socially, right? I'm very aware that for darker skinned people, colorism will always be worse. And I don't
Right.
begin to try to, compare my experiences to those of darker skin tones.
Right.
But I feel like as long as we allow, light skins can experience colorism, we could beat light skins up about stuff all day long because the system benefits you. No, it's literally why it was created. That's what they want. They don't want us to function as a community.
Right.
And I
agree
think,
with that. Go ahead.
and I think that to that point, and that I connected something. In that instance where you guys there are black people at a PWI institution for high school and stuff like that. It's like, do you guys like band together and like act as one? And I think that's the issue because black people already have all the odds against us. Why are we creating division in our own communities? You get what I'm saying?
But we didn't create it.
But we're perpetuating it. And
That's
because
it's
it has not been
continuing
taught
it.
how to
But
break it.
the thing is,
But I don't.
there
but what
there
is-
are more actors at play than just light skin and dark skin.
Exactly.
It's
And I
white
agree.
people as well.
This is literally an institution that was built to dehumanize black people to a point 200 years later. We're still doing it within our own, with ourselves.
and they were successful. And I
And
think
they were
that's-
successful.
That's
That's why we
the
have to
issue.
start by breaking the little things, and this is another sector of the conversation that I feel like is important to hit on. In society, we have seen examples to where, there's a lot of people throw the term out, colors, right?
Colors.
If my brother, right, who is one of my brothers is like very, very light skinned, and then the other one is like more brown skin. Or okay, for example, my father, he's a brown skinned male, right? If he's married, so back off, ladies. But dating their life.
Goodbye.
If he was a single man, right, and as a brown-skinned male, he decided that I like light skins, or my preference is light-skinned women. I have seen examples to where he would be labeled colorist. What is the difference between being colorist and having a preference?
I think it's the motive behind your preference, because it or whatever. Because say for instance you only like light skins because you want mixed babies and you want to have babies with lighter hair, light skin eye. I mean, not light skin eyes. Well, colored eyes, right? And then you don't want to date a dark skin or a brown skin woman because you don't want your baby to come out dark, and you don't want your baby to come out with 4C hair. That's when it becomes colorist. That's when it becomes an issue of that isn't preference. That's just being colorist. You know, that's why I feel like it's the distinction between it's the motive behind your preference.
I think we've all been in situations where we're like, whoa, you don't want to date a dark skinned woman because of what? I think to your point about the motive specifically, the social standards to how Black women are perceived is what causes a lot of this misconception here. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're really talking about, because a guy can tell me right now that he does not want to date my skin color, right? Or a darker skin color. Right. Because I do not have, like you said, curly hair. I do not have lighter eyes. I can't provide him with the kids right now.
I'm light skinned, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's it. Literally, I'm telling you from the eyes of a man in this instance, because we had plenty of conversations with a guy who say he does not like darker women.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reasons behind it are immature, yes, but
interested though, because like if it was the reverse, like if guys said I only strictly date dark skinned women, and versus I only strictly date light skinned women,
would the world shame that as much if
would they shame it? I don't think so.
No, not at all.
So.
It's
at all.
I hear that all the time, but I think that they don't shame it. It's because that isn't what normally happens.
Yes,
which I feel like is problematic.
Right.
I agree. I think it's problematic.
I think it is problematic, but like, how do we get that? Like, I don't know where people get the idea that this color is off limits to me. Mm-hmm. Like, as if that individual isn't somebody different. Like, you know, you're different.
That just made me think
somebody
about
else.
Something.
Right. Like, you are like, light skin is not a monolith. Dark skin is not a monolith. Right. So you're gonna cut them all off because of one experience.
Exactly. Right. And it made me think about something. Literally, I know that in my experience as being a light-skinned female, right? Mm-hmm. Typically, and y'all tell me how y'all feel about this, but typically when you talk about the beauty of a brown-skinned woman or the beauty of a dark-skinned woman, it can be very detailed, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. It can be into her entire, energy, her physique, all of that.
Right.
But there is a stigma that when a guy is with the light-skinned female, it is solely because she is light-skinned. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the same effects that colorism have had on dark-skinned and brown-skinned girls, or even males, because that's we go.
I was just about to get into
that. We're about to get into that,
right? And are.
I feel like that same, insecurity that it can create for a brown-skinned or dark-skinned female. That's like with colorism at large, like dealing from a systematic thing. It leaves dark-skinned women and brown-skinned women, kind of at a lower point, right? That same insecurity inside the Black community is being pushed on light-skinned girls, because I know tons of light-skinned girls who feel like I'm only pretty because I'm light-skinned, or that's the only thing I have. That's the only thing saving me. I don't have real beauty. Or a guy will literally like, I like light skins. Right. Like, is there nothing else that I'm presenting that you find attractive other than my
a spiritual connection is what needs to be
made. Going off of what Jayla said, I feel like if we connect it to the representation in the media, a lot of times, we've been asking, can we have more Black actresses? Can we have more Black people in these shows that we love? But then when we see them, we always see people who are mixed, or they have white mom, Black dad, or who are of the light skin tone. Right? We never see the dark skin and the
right, which is an issue. But I feel like tell it like, if that I'm gonna pass to the last thing. If that person is a actor, right, and she's a great actor, and she just happens to be light skinned, and the Black community is like, yo, stop casting light skins as all the Black people roles. I get it. It definitely is an issue. But think about how it makes that girl feel, who is a darn good actor, and she did not choose to be light skinned.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
My thing is, and I want to bring up a specific point to what you just said. The book right here, The Hate You Give.
Listen.
The Hate You Give.
She
In that
received
book,
so
it described a dark-skinned woman.
It surely did.
It literally described a dark-skinned woman.
It did.
And then we watched the movie, and Amanda Stenberg is the main character, and she's
Yeah, and
literally
she is
mixed.
an amazing
She's an
actress.
amazing actress.
But
She's
I
an
don't think
amazing
that there are several dark-skinned actors that are amazing, just as good
That
as
could have
Amanda
played that
Stenberg.
role.
Just
Far
as
good
good.
as well.
Right.
Which
Personally,
I understand, but the black community yelling about this, I don't know. I was just thinking about her. And if I was an actor, first of all, because she's out here trying to make it as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. She made it.
Saying like,
She
girl,
did
you
what she
shouldn't have
had
had
to
that.
do.
Even though you're an actor, even though you're a good actor and you killed that role because you were light skinned, you shouldn't have had that.
And
I don't like that.
That's the same.
And
That's also the same as.
Go ahead. I'm
I'll
sorry.
pass it on. I
Yeah.
promise. That's also the same as me going out for a role that's specifically catered to a white person. Like you, obviously, if the role is not fit for you to be light skinned, you shouldn't get the role.
Right.
My thing,
But-
okay, my thing is when it came to
But we
the
have to come
Amanda
to reality,
Steinberg
yeah.
situation, like
That's what I'm saying.
Amanda
She-
Stenberg.
Stenberg, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Her, I think that if the color of her skin was really important to the creator, he would have specifically looked for a dark skinned female.
I don't
I
agree
don't
with
think
that.
You
it
know,
really happens
no, because
that
I'm saying
way.
like there was a layout for who she was in a book.
It was.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
there was many elements of the book that was left out. In the
Right.
movie.
It was mini.
Right.
But,
Okay,
but,
but
how
like
do
what I'm
the
saying, that's
main
one of the
character wrong though. Like
I know,
but
I
I
get
don't
that,
think
and I get. I'm saying like if there was a layout that was important, like if like you know what I'm saying, if there was a layout for what this actor was supposed to look like, and the director, whoever created it, did not think it was that important, I don't think the people in the community should be paying attention.
But I think
Was
what's
the
making it
movie
as important
less
is
effective
because
because she
this
was
is
light
again
skinned?
it was
another
effective
movie
because
that is meant to publicize a book where it does not portray the real character. I think that's when the black community gets upset because
Jayla,
this is ran through the film industry.
And also,
you said something. What did you say?
I said, was the movie like right? Because a lot of people read the book. A
Yeah.
lot of people watched the movie.
Beautiful
of
book, by
all
the way.
demographics.
yeah, it's great.
It's amazing, right? Was the movie less effective because they casted a light
Less
Yes.
effective?
Yes.
Not for me.
For me,
I don't know.
yes.
I don't know if it
You
was.
said
For me,
less
it was. And I was
effective?
saying
less
why.
effective
Did it
because
play
what
the real
the
role?
movie created was a understanding of how it feels, as a person of color when dealing with situations like that. B, it showed literally what happens with people of color who attend PWIs, the scene with the hairbrush and everything. Like the movie did a lot. Even the scene she had with Common, where he was explaining what officers look for and how he would address a black man versus how he would address a white man, who are the same inflammatory. How they address them is different.
Right.
The movie did a lot. Would the movie have been less effective if they did? What was
Would it have been more effective if it was a dark
Wait.
skin?
I don't think-
Was the movie less effective because they casted a light skin?
Yes.
I don't know about effectiveness, but I know that in a film industry where you literally money, I'm thinking capital.
Right.
In the film industry, if I'm trying to market my film as something with clips, I know that black skinned women are more favored when it comes to appeal.
And it's true.
Appeal.
I hate that.
So if the actor in this movie was dark skinned, I think it would have had less.
It would have had less recognition. It would have.
Yes.
It would have.
But would that take
But that would not take away from the significance
So,
of the impact of the
if
book.
we're going back to the
Do
effectiveness
you-
that she's
Yeah.
talking about, then I think that if it was dark skin, it would decrease the
But
effectiveness.
my thing is, does capital, the money that's made off of it, affect the impact? Because I think that the impact,
the marketing,
right,
yes.
the impact of the movie would have been so much greater if it was a dark skin.
For who?
No, I think the
whom?
magnitude of it will be
For
better,
who?
deeper for black people.
For
maybe.
black, okay, I think
That's
that,
what I'm saying.
But the
For
scope
black
of
people,
it,
The
but not
movie
for all
for black
demographics.
people, it was. This is and I'm not trying to make this downgrade but this isn't. There wasn't really anything new brought up. She just the author put it in a way to where it was easy to understand. It was I don't know. It expressed the sentiments that black people feel.
Right.
I feel like the movie did more for people of the movie and the book does more for people of other races.
Yes.
I agree that they should have casted a actor who fulfilled the criteria of the character. But I do not agree in saying that the movie would have done more as impact wise if the actor was brown skin or dark skin because of what Zayla said. We know that.
look at that character on the front of that.
Right.
Look at her. What is she she?
Right. She has an
What
afro.
is she? She has an afro. She is dark
She's a
skinned.
beautiful dark-skinned woman.
What?
Right, we
Justify
already
that.
know we did not create colorism.
We did not.
We did not. And as Zayla said, if we know that across the board, light-skinned people are favored, which I hate, but if we know that, if the goal is for this to be impactful, and I know that, and it sucks, but if as a filmmaker, I know that it, will cause the capital, what am I trying to say? The views and everything will go down if I cast someone a brown or dark skin. It probably hurt if they did think about that as the director. It probably sucked.
Right.
But if the goal is to have impact, I get the decision.
Going off of that,
because we did not create
but
that.
I think that we are living in this institution and we're just trying to fight the system. But I think as Black women, we always talk about, how it feels to be what shade of color we are. But I think we do the same to our Black men.
Yeah.
Let's get into the Black men side of it.
I wish there was I'm sorry. I wish there was a light skinned male in here right now. I just want
because I want to hear it.
I want to hear it because
Yeah.
no. Go ahead.
John,
I wanted to bring up.
this.
I wanted to bring up something though.
Sure.
Wait, but okay.
Can I bring up something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Have y'all heard of the doll test?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I haven't heard of that one. Enlighten me.
The doll test, it's when you have a white baby and a black baby, and did this test on a bunch of African American kids. And basically they asked who's the bad baby, who's the good baby. And they would point to the white baby as a good baby and the bad baby as a black baby. Who's more pretty? Who's more beautiful? Who's more smart? Like, who's more smart?
Toy baby.
Who's smarter? And then at the end, they like, who do you look like? And they point to the black kid, and then that's you realize this is who you think you are. Whoa. And they use that in the Brown versus Board of Education trial, and they won.
So deep.
Wait, for real?
Oh, they did that case, bro.
They did
that impact.
Deep. I never knew that the dog test was included in that.
The dog test goes crazy because the thing is, you can still do that dog test today. You can get
still
similar
get the same
results.
Nah, my sister. Oh, go ahead.
You would get similar results.
She'd be like,
But okay, I was different.
Kayla's smart.
I was different. I'm a dark skinned girl, but I've always been told how beautiful I am. And that's maybe because I have features that can look like other cultures. Like I have been told I could look Ethiopian or Somalian or like whatever. I could look like I'm from Africa somewhere. And that's because of my good hair, quote unquote. And that's because of my eyes. They're because of my lips. It's because of my features that are more culturally diverse. Not, it's just pretty.
Right.
But I do want to get into these black men. I want you to walk us through that.
Can I be honest really quickly?
She was like, I don't know.
I don't. Like, I'm going to be so honest. I don't know. I've never, because I feel like in the gay community and in like the community where it's like straight men trying to get women and like being looked at as less masculine because they're light skinned or more masculine because they're dark skinned. I've never really experienced that. I've never been in a position where somebody was being colorist towards me. I'll be honest. So I don't know if I can attest to that.
I think the only reason why I wanted to go down the route of men because I think as a black woman I need to take accountability because I think I do say a lot. Hey, my preference may be this, but it may come off the wrong way.
Yes, and
I think that honestly, I'll pass to you next to you tonight. I think that and not to bring like gay things in it, but like honestly, it's different for gay men. It really is because we don't need to be quote unquote like yes, there are masculine gays stuff like that, but for us, we don't need to like fit the depiction of like. Oh, that sounds so bad, but like this, like man, like we're kind of excluded from that.
The typical,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like nobody really likes.
I get
for
that.
I
get that. Yeah.
Off of what Dea and Jonah just said, I believe personally, I've heard other people say, "Oh, you're light skinned, you're sensitive." For males, like you're so sensitive because you're light skinned, and you think you're all that. Or a light skin face, like stuff like that. I don't think it's colorism, but I think there's a certain point where I'm saying you don't have to be sensitive just because you're light skin or just because you're a different skin tone.
Right, and I agree.
As somebody who has a light skinned older brother, shout out to him.
And actually, he's our editor and stuff. So
right. He has expressed that he has things assumed about him, and as a male, he is a straight black male, and his masculinity is questioned simply because of his skin tone. Like as Sanai said, he is perceived as either being softer or being narcissistic because of his skin tone. And I know as a black female, if you ask me my racial preference, I really don't have one. I just want you to love me. But if you ask me, if you ask my racial preference, typically I would say, I'm more attracted to brown skin or dark skin males, because subconsciously I do, and it's not because of like anybody I've experienced, but I feel like subconsciously there is this image that lighter skinned males are less masculine.
Yeah.
Are more concerned about their looks. The light skin face.
So all the typical traits of a light skinned man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And honestly, y'all, are y'all seeing this? That's reversed.
It's reversed. That's why I'm like, I want to take
reversed. Like light skins are getting that prejudice that.
Oh my god!
But
you see that?
No, because like I said,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like I said before,
I didn't know that.
I think that light skin.
I was saying
light skin. I was saying like light skin to me has a correlation to femininity.
Why?
It has a correlation to femininity. Because like not seduction, but that like I'm thinking light skin appeal really does have a correlation to like femininity, or like how seductive you come off as. Does that make sense? Because
I'm confused. I'm
saying like
can I help you here?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It goes back to slavery. There's an association with being light skinned to directly being, you're mixed with something. You are not purebred black, right? Which we don't have to get into genealogy, but if you view somebody as, you're like, if somebody saw Sanai, it would more than likely be an assumption that she's not purebred black, right? And I think that as a black community, when and it's mostly associated with, she has a white descendant, somewhere in her. Black people can attest to this. Masculinity for a black male is significantly different than masculinity for a white male. And so as black women, right, we may perceive white male masculinity as like, versus like, being a strong black man. It's attractive to us.
Something.
That strong.
So when you think about a light-skinned male, like who is perceived to either, you're mixed with something, or you have a white descendant, you attach white male masculinity with the light-skinned male. So that aura of being a strong black man, in part, is stripped from him. So it gives off a feminine side, because of what we associate it with, and not of what it actually is.
Right. And I agree with that. So great.
Thank you.
Coming through. And I think that honestly, we should leave it there, and then maybe do a part 2 with a dark skinned man and a light skinned man.
I'm
bring
really curious. Because I think it's time for us to take some accountability.
So maybe y'all be on the lookout for that. Maybe we'll have some special guests here soon. But I do. You want to go ahead. But I do want to bring up something that I feel like we have not touched on a lot, and that's mixed people. Like mixed.
What you say?
Mixed people.
Biracials. And like biracials. Right. And because you talked about your blackness being stripped. And I think that was a great point. Do you feel like mixed people are deemed less black than...
But I've never thought
mixed people.
Sure. I think as a society, specifically a black community, a lot of people perceive them as less black. Personally, it has never been that for me.
Going off of that point,
genetically, aren't they less black though?
Hold on. No, let's get into the one drop rule, which is very true. One drop rule, which states that if you have even 1% of black in
you are black.
You are black.
Right?
Hold on.
1% of black and 100% of black are two different things.
Right. But you obviously some can have more than others. But when you are dealing with situations where somebody, is mixed, and I really want to dissect this less black concept, because there are people who can be brown skin or dark skin and grow up in a different community or don't present like the typical what black people are supposed to act like, and we characterize them as less black too, or whitewash. So it's like this concept of being less black, is it only based off of like, a race thing or ethnicity thing which you're combined with, or is just any association with white is considered less black, which I think that it is.
And there's multiple times where I've seen like mixed people who literally, I was like, for my first glance, I thought they were white. They're fully white, and so when they'll be saying the N-word in the song, or they'll be saying it in social media, and everybody be like, "You're not white. You're not. I mean, you're not black. You're not black." But then when you look and dissect the features that they have, like I don't know if this is like a bigger nose or a fuller lips. You can really like dissect. Oh, this person really has black descent in them.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
I think we've all came to a conclusion that everybody has some black in them. That can be
What's so interesting to me though is like why it's so weird how black is dominant genes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If we want to get into genealogy, that's not because like Jayla can get into the genealogy.
But like even like let's say black people, mixed people, blah 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 blah. Like me, if you were to ask me if I'm mixed with white, I would tell you I'm 1/16 white. Does that matter to you at all? No. But if a mixed person from like down a trilogy told you that I'm 1/6 black.
And like, why you gotta say it for?
Okay, not gonna lie. As somebody who attends a PWI, I have dealt with white kids who will tell me like, "Oh, I did a genealogy test. I'm 0.5 black. I can say the N-word." No, you can't, because you're gonna misuse it. You're abusing it. You're gonna misuse it. You're abusing it. But technically, if we're going based off of the one drop rule, they would be black and allowed to use certain.
I don't agree with the one drop rule because I feel like I've learned that everybody has a little bit of black.
Everybody got a little drop in there.
It's okay. To the N-word thingy. Oh, I'm 1.5% black, so I can say the N-word.
No. Like if you want to say it that bad,
you are presented with the one drop rule. If you're one drop black and all the rest white, you are presented as white. Therefore, you do not have to go through the struggle and the trials and tribulations that black people have to go through every single day. You do not have to experience any of that. So therefore, you should not have the same privileges as black people to say the N-word. That's what I'm thinking.
I get that.
But okay, all in all, right? Because we were talking about, biracial people.
Right.
And are they, this concept of being perceived less black. And really, at the end of the day, colorism has specifically to do with the black community. But it's bigger than that, right? We perceive, this concept of whitewashed. You could be brown skin or dark skin and be whitewashed. You can be light skinned and considered more black than somebody who is a darker skin tone. And it all connects back to this, like y'all said, being on the house slave, the field slave. And I feel like for black people, anything that is considered closer to white is less black. And I hate it.
It is. And because we are addressed with that every single day of our lives.
Right. And being professional, I don't know why it's perceived being closer to white.
Why is talking clearly being deemed as white?
Yeah.
Why are you less black because you can articulate your words?
Because you don't use African American vernacular English.
That's
I was gonna get that wrong too. But like going off of what Jayla said with whitewash, I feel like you especially for somebody who goes to PWI, also if you wear your hair straight all the time, like as a black person, you're deemed as whitewashed by not only by the black community, especially somebody actually never like, or if you
let you not
if you participate in multiple activities that are deemed white, or like because like lacrosse. I've never seen a black lacrosse player. That's just because my ill experience.
I've seen a couple.
Right, but people, if a black person plays lacrosse, or I want to hang out at this party,
water polo.
Let's go, black people. Why don't you love your black people?
Rugby.
Rugby. Fencing.
Let's go ride horses.
That's so interesting.
But literally we do it, and it's so crazy to see it.
I don't know what the solution.
I don't know.
Okay, I want to connect this right back to colorism, right? And I feel like, honestly, it is what Daya said. It's a fear thing.
It is.
Literally, anytime black people associate something being close to white or, similar to white, it's fearful for us. So we push away from it. Like, and, from black people trying to create pride in being black, I feel like that's where the disconnect comes in. You're a light-skinned person. Your skin tone is quote unquote closer to white. You get more opportunities that are that white people give to you. That's like that, and it affirms things that we saw in slavery.
Yeah.
It's the PTSD of being black.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It is.
And honestly, y'all want to know what this connects to again?
What?
Generational cycles.
Oh,
And
That's
guess
why
what?
we-
We're going to get into that.
Right, and that, y'all, that podcast is gonna be so.
Y'all
gonna
need
need a part
to
two.
attend.
Y'all gonna have
It's
to.
gonna be
Y'all gonna have to tune in for that. 'Cause when it comes,
yeah.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
so dope.
But
Yeah.
to Zayla's point, where's the solvency? How do
Yeah.
we deal with that PTSD?
I think it's really hard because that's the same question we've been asking ourselves every day.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
It's the same question that we have to come face to face whenever somebody asks us why you do what you do as a black intellectual.
I think the
Right.
solvency is personally, of course, you can have your preference of light skin, dark skin, but identifying that all black is beautiful, no matter what shade you are, whatever. But all black is beautiful. Although you might have that preference, I don't think you should degrade a darker skinned woman just because, or call them ugly just because they're dark skinned. So I think the solvency is not acknowledging that all dark skinned women, that all black.
No,
Right.
yeah, I get you. No, you
Yeah,
don't need
yeah,
to.
it was
You don't
in
need
there.
to degrade the dark skin. When it comes to preference, I think that you don't need to degrade one shade to hype up.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was. Yes.
And I think that I don't that. It's a lot, and I think that really helps. What helps with solvency is not letting these differences and the systems that are at play mess with the community of black people. Like, I know that the systems are in more light-skinned people's favor, but I cannot allow that to be a reason as to why I cannot connect with my brothers and sisters. You know,
But also, that's so valid, Day. I mean, not. Oh my gosh,
One of us.
Zayla.
Yeah.
That is so valid, and like that's something that really. I'm glad that you brought that up. But also, you mentioned this like in the beginning of the podcast. You said this is something that's also like has to do with white people as a whole. But I think that where we can start is our own community.
We need to
Yes,
start within our
Right,
Yes.
right. We need to start in our own
the
community.
answer is already
Wait.
there. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I was like, but and I'll pass to you next. But yes, we need to start in our own community because it starts with us. Because if we get colorism, and if we get a grip on it, and we try to fix it, it's going to not be such a problem because we aren't going to be affected by it because our community has that, and we got that. So I think that it starts with us, and that's where it needs to start.
Yeah.
And I feel
Yeah,
like
it does.
honestly, the solutions are already there.
Right.
We don't have to create some new formula of solvency. Carter G. Woodson and W.E.B. Du Bois said it in both their books, The Miseducation of the Negro and The Souls of Black Folk. It is going to take us educating and supporting ourselves. That's the only way.
Yeah.
Because if we leave it up to white people, we will be destroyed, right?
Forever.
Yes. And I'm saying white people as in the system, not just, the everyday white person you meet wants you to die. No, that's not what I'm saying.
It doesn't work
But
like that.
systematically, this nation we know it's set up for our demise. And if we let them dictate how far we go or the way that we perceive our success, it's going to forever be horrible. And I think that and this sounds, because I'm light skinned, this is going to sound like a different way. But I'm glad that as a light skinned person who is dedicated to the betterment of my people, favor me. So I can get in that space and I can open it up for somebody of different skin tones.
And I know a lot of people do that.
And I'm glad that you said that because as a dark-skinned woman, I'm like, I understand that this is like, we need to unify. But at the end of the day, I need a place to sleep.
Right.
I need food on my table. And if the opportunities are being given to you, what will be given to me?
I think that's when it comes time to learn.
Well, not given to me, but like, my
And I think that's why it's so important to educate ourselves.
We got to figure out who, stop. I don't want people to think that, we're fighting to get this treatment from the white men.
No, we're trying to build our own space.
Light-skinned person have created wealth due to your privilege. It is your literal obligation to spread that to people who do not get the same simply because of how they present.
You have to create the spaces that were never given to you. And I think because we always you have to create the table, bring the seats. Because at this point in time,
Create the table, bring the
okay, because it's coming to a point where we can no longer depend on the white man. I'm sorry, we can't. This has been an institution that has literally deprived us of everything that we've been fighting for. So with this education that W.E. Du Bois has brought, Carter G. Woodson, the best way to actually navigate through this is to build our own spaces.
And going off of that, Langston Hughes
Uh-oh. Come on,
I too
Langston.
sing America. Do I?
Say it.
Okay. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then.
And you
Besides,
know, oh sorry.
Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America.
Ooh, you can
Langston Hughes.
That's a whole other podcast to dissect that.
Wait,
That said
yo,
it all.
I'm sorry, but I cannot ignore the fact that Langston Hughes is like a lighter skinned man.
Ooh.
A lot of the leaders that we look at are lighter skinned. A lot of the leaders that we look at.
We might need a
y'all
part
lucky
two.
that
We need a
y'all
part
lucky.
two.
Y'all are lucky that those pictures are black and white because Mr. What's his name? Booker T. Washington, a lighter male.
Did he have?
Oh,
But Martin Luther King
a lighter
Jr.
male.
was a brown skin.
Martin
He was
Luther
a
King
brown
Jr.
skin, but he was
wasn't
Malcolm
Malcolm X was a
X.
brown skin.
Malcolm X, a brown skin,
Kinda lighter complexion,
Yes.
but-
Rosa
Would you
Parks,
say that's
brown and
Right.
No,
Like-
Rose Park was light skinned, babes.
light skin.
I think she was a little light.
She was like a light.
Okay,
Yeah,
I see what you. I don't want to see associate that directly with like the work that they did. Like
Right. No.
Langston Hughes is an amazing
Man.
I'm not
poet.
discrediting him at all.
Because I to America is still
I just had to notice that. I had to point out that pattern because I'm like,
the table.
I'm not taking away anything of them, but I'm like the people that are leaders in this community are often more on the lighter end of the spectrum.
And I think that's a valid point.
Right.
I think to make that though, you would have to find a direct link from the come up to where they are now and what took place. Like what
I feel like we're getting too.
Because I think that's too
away
deep.
from-
Because that's a different podcast. Because
Right. We gotta make it part two, y'all. We really gotta make it
Yeah,
part
so
two.
I think that we
because they were like still assassinated for the work they've done, even though like their color or their skin.
you understand? I'm not discrediting
Yeah.
your work. Like,
No,
I'm
no,
just
we get
saying,
it, yeah.
We get it, but it
Yeah.
still impacts of it. You know.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I pointed that out because for me, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm not the darkest person. You know, I'm not the darkest Black American, but I am on the darker side. And I think that for me, it's motivation for me to put my face up there with the greats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Langston Hughes said it best, you know. They send me to eat in the kitchen, but you know, I'm gonna eat well and I'm gonna grow strong.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's
Ooh.
at this point, that's the solvency.
That
Right.
is.
Yeah.
To eat well and grow strong.
Take it.
Makes sense
take
of the
it,
stuff that
take it,
although
literally.
they're taking away that your seat, they're not giving you those opportunities. Work. So when you get that seat at the table, you not only
You make
have
something of it. You're
Yeah,
not just sitting there. But y'all, we discussed a lot, and
Right.
I think I don't know. I have clarity on some of these things, and I hope that our audience got clarity on some of these things as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And I definitely just think that, like I always say, we always bringing so much to the table. And I just hope that, like, everybody is just feeling and, you know, like, understanding and grasping everything. Because we are honestly just so privileged to be able to be in these spaces and have these conversations, y'all.
Yeah.
And it's just so heartwarming. So make sure y'all join us next week. Because one thing about us,
We gonna talk about it.